think we're here. I think we're ready to go. Hello. PSA just totally fucked a bunch of people, now dropping their cost to like $18 per submission, whatever. A lot of people mad on that. A lot of cards, like, I shouldn't say a lot of cards, a Tom Brady refractor Chrome just sold for like $40K or something like that, or $38K, whatever. It's cool to see those still popping off for the most part. Other cards in the regards of flipping are not working out for people. Wax is kind of calming down a little bit. You had gold standard elements coming out, like we said last week, and the products are not the best. It's better than the pen pals and elite and stuff like that. You get a lot more, patches and stuff and such, RPAs, numbered cards, mostly stickers. So like the pen pals is on card, so you got that debate. Is it better because it's on card versus like 1 out of 99 that's a sticker auto and a blank fucking piece of shit patch? I don't know. It's what it is. People are still ripping. People are still getting into breaks. People are still selling cards. There's still some value. Clearly, if you had some Pickett stuff you were waiting on, and you paid a premium, which is what you probably did to get the Pittsburgh Steelers, because you also have, maybe a top wide receiver out of the draft class. My favorite, who I took to win Rookie of the Year in receiving yards, but Steelers were a dumpster fire, and I should have fucking took Olave. I took Winston to have the most yards this year, and thinking Olave was going to be a big factor in that, and I don't know why. I just figured I don't want all my eggs in one basket. So let's get back to, last week I had I don't know how to edit this shit. If I was some guru on the podcast engineer, I could probably figure out how to edit right now and like put in the clip of me saying I don't want to just go on the YouTube clip and then I have to search it. Actually, I should have just done that, but I did not use my brain to figure it out. So, anyways, when I was on the podcast last week, I said I was taking a bet, and I put it in on the podcast, which was my, I guess live at the time, bet, which was the, I'll just log in right now. It wasn't all the favorites. I know that clearly. It was, pull it up. Trying to pull the live up too, just in case anyone's in here chatting. No. Okay. Cool. I always forget to look at that too. All right, so I don't know why my password is incorrect password, blah blah blah. Here we go. I took the Steelers on the money line minus 140 because I had the Rams and they weren't budging. So I had a free bet via BetMGM. It was a $10 free bet for Monday Night Football this week. Look at this wing. So I threw that because it would net you more. If you took the $10 and put it on the 49ers, you would have got like $7 and some change. Or if you took the Rams, you would have got like $11.50. So clearly, with the free bet, I took the higher stake, I took the underdog to get more money back if it hit. And then I know I said in the podcast last week I liked the Rams a lot. I don't know why they were plus. I still didn't. I kind of felt like the Rams would get some offense going. Matthew Stafford and the whole team, McVay, they look like shit right now. So with the BetMGM, I took the $10, put it on them because it would get me more. You also don't get the $10, which I'm sure all of you know. That's why I was like, well, I'm guaranteed $10+ if I take the Rams, or I'm only getting $7. And then I'm going to put that $7 on something else versus what I was going to do is take the $10, cash it out, put it in my DraftKings account and play with that. I've been playing with house money for about 2 weeks now, so keep it up. Didn't work out that way, but with the house money that I had in my DraftKings account, I ended up taking the 49ers before the game. So this way, it was a win-win. Those are some of the things I feel like people are like, why would you take them? You're going to lose money, but not if it's a free bet. When I had the $200 in free bets, I was taking any plus, 100 plus money lines, something like that, to where I was taking the underdogs on live bets, hoping that one would pan out, which did. And then what I was doing was hedging with the team that was home in baseball, because if it was tied and it's coming in the ninth, they clearly are now like minus 300, because at any point they get a chance to either walk off the game in extras, or tie the game to get into extras, or if it's a tie game in the ninth, they get a chance to walk it off. So that's why I took the White Sox when they were plus 100 versus taking, or when I had the Cleveland Indians plus 170 or 180, whatever it was. So it's a win-win. When it's the free bets, I always try and hedge myself with two teams if it's something like that, which I actually respect that Bet MGM gives you 4 right here, bet plus win, 200 for the NFL team to if the NFL team you bet scores a touchdown claim now, which again, that has to be, you put $10 on either team money line, you get $200 in bet credits, and it's 4 separate $50 bets. I respect that versus them giving you 100. I don't think I've ever used Barstool Sports, so I might just do this right here today after this. I went heavy on the Chiefs money line. They were plus like 115. I don't know why, probably because they were in Tampa Bay, but Mahomes primetime games, I think he's like 7-0-1 or maybe 7-1. I think it's a tie. I felt like Andy Reid and Mahomes, but they're not losing back-to-backs, just kind of like the Aaron Rodgers. I would never fade Aaron Rodgers back-to-back games. I hit a bigger parlay with, of course, 2 of the biggest parlays were I had like $2 and $5 on them because they were outrageous parlays, and it hit. My $2 one hit for 60. That was Travis Kelce anytime touchdown score, Chiefs money line, Chiefs over total points 16.5, Mahomes over 22.5 passing yards, Cameron Brate over 4.5 receiving yards, Chris Godwin over 24.5 receiving yards, Mike Evans over 54.5 receiving yards, and Fournette to score anytime. The Mike Evans was like minus, because that was the lowest. It was minus 290. If I had just done the next one up to 60, it would have been like 250, and then 220, and I think 79.5 was like 190, minus 190, which he had a great game, and I thought he would come back hot. I thought Tom Brady would get back into the groove with him. That's what happened. I was going to take him to score a touchdown anytime, but Fournette were better odds. So I took Fournette, and it hit. That was a great parlay, plus 28.80. Again, Chiefs. I took the Bills live when they were down. I also had the Bills in every parlay, and I also had the Bills straight up before that. But I also had $5 free bet from DraftKings. So what I did was I took the Ravens with that $5 live. You had to do it live, plus 225. Nothing against my Bills. It's just smart money. I'm trying to hedge myself. And it was to net, $16. So need a little of that today. It's Thursday. We got Thursday night football, trying to get this going. The over for the Vikings Saints. I woke up late on Sunday, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't even think, I forgot London football was on, and we turned it on. The live over was 43. At this time, I think it was halftime, it was a very close game. So the over 43, I just felt like both teams were moving the ball. Andy Dalton was out here slinging the fucking ball. Andy Dalton was looking better than Jameis Winston's looking. The Red Rocket, or Red Rifle, whatever, is still out here. He was playing decent for the Cowboys. Then he played pretty decent for the Bears, given an atrocious system and franchise. Then he goes to New Orleans, where all they do it's a pass-heavy offense. Even if Kamara is in the game, he's catching the ball in the backfield 5 times. I don't mind Andy Dalton running that offense, and I think they're underdogs now because of that, and their defense is always like a top 10 defense. They shut down Tom Brady and the Bucs. They shut down, a couple other teams early on. Clearly, they lost to the Vikings. Really, I didn't mind who was going to win that game. I just wanted to see them slinging the ball. The over, so I took the over Arizona State USC game. That was my last bet of Saturday night. Had a good fucking night on Saturday, or a good day. I took Purdue on the money line. That hit against Minnesota. That was plus 115. I had a really good week back-to-back weeks. We were out with some buddies. We have slots in all of our bars, gas stations, restaurants. Everywhere you go, there's a slot machine pretty much. We typically play. I was feeling hot. I lost like $200 on that. So all the money I won this week in sports betting went back into my pocket for the loss in the slots. But the week before, being up like 380 clearly was nice. I also had a parlay with Michigan and Kansas. Kansas was plus 140. Clearly, Michigan was minus 390 against Iowa. I didn't like Michigan to cover the points because it's a Big Ten game. It's Iowa. It's usually a defensive battle. I should have took the under on that. That was another nice two-team parlay. I did have a few losses. I had probably I had a lot of like $2-3 parlay losses. All in all, at the end of the day, I had $40 in here, and I cashed out over $1.90 with my couple parlays that hit for like $60-70, which I'll get to that one real quick. We had bet when I was with my buddies too on Friday. We bet the live Tulane Houston game. The over was 38, and at the time it was 30. I think the point was 30. It was going in the fourth, and there's 30 total points. And I looked over, and I said to my buddy, Tulane, over 38, 8 more points. We got a whole quarter. We both took it. It ended up being 27-24, 51 points. So we could have hammered that even more. But again, I only had limited funds because I put some parlays out like when I did the podcast and a couple other ones early. And sometimes I like doing it because the odds change with injuries and stuff like that. But that's also like it's a two-way sword. So you got to be really careful on those. The other one I did was Middle Tennessee. I love those overs usually, and it was like 52. It was plus 190 with a 100% boost, so I threw a lot more money on that one, hit it. I took the Bengals to hit. That was nice. I took a parlay of the Mets, Diamondbacks, Angels, Brewers on Thursday, I believe, and that one hit plus 836. So some of these little goofy parlays I've been putting in have been hitting. But let me see where this... Here's the one I put in. I'm not going to show you. Oh, I don't know if any information gets shared on here, but this is what I put in during the podcast last week. 5-pick parlay plus 1230. It was the Packers on the money line, Raiders on the money line, Cardinals on the money line, which they were dogs, Bills on the money line, and the over for the Eagles and Jags game. That hit by 13 points. Bills won, Cardinals, Raiders, Packers. That was a nice little parlay right there. That was like what set me over. I also had, that was the last parlay I took. So those are all my big ones from this week. That was the one I put on, like I said, last podcast. Fucking NFL's goofy, man. Odell's like visiting teams. He's going to the Giants, this and that. The Giants beat the Bears. Daniel Jones looked pretty damn good. I don't know if they're a fluke, but at the end of the day, I was talking about this with my buddy last night. Giants fans are like us, or like Philly, New York fans, I should say, or Pittsburgh. Shit runs deep. We'll get on Pittsburgh in a minute, but Daboll's doing everything he can out there to look good. Daniel Jones is trying everything he can to get that fucking extension, or, I mean, I don't think Daniel Jones is the guy, but I compare him to Mitch. They look like the same fucking player. Sounded like someone just fucking died in the backyard. Saquon's having his fucking time again. He's doing well. They lost, Slayton again to another torn ACL. The fucking guys beat up. The Giants, to me, if you're not the guy, they're going to eat you alive quick. Just like in Pittsburgh, just like in Chicago, just like any East Coast team, I feel like that's got a diehard fan base. Even like Green Bay. If Jordan Love came in and he sucked, Green Bay would fucking blow up. It's a wild time. Kenny Pickett came in the game. He threw the ball. I get the energy. Like they said, when he came in, it was like when Tyrod Taylor went down and Baker Mayfield finally got his shot. It was only a matter of time. He was going to get a shot, and he got it. Baker came out and fucking lit a spark for that organization real quick. Now he's in Carolina, and you got fucking Matt Rule or whatever his name is. That guy sucks. He stinks. I don't even know how he's still the coach after what happened with Sam Darnold last year. And I just feel like their defense took a huge step back. You got Jeremy Chin now on IR. Baker, he's not doing anything good. He's not doing anything bad. There's no system. And I feel like that's just what Baker was brought into with the Browns until Baker did his thing and they had some plays for him. People weren't ready to compete with Baker Mayfield. Again, same thing with Pickett now. All the defenses and teams and coaches, all they had to live off of were plays in college, which is if they take that next step and they develop into an NFL quarterback, the college education you get from watching is irrelevant almost. Unless they have these bad habits where it's like he can't throw, he can't roll out left, or is something like that, like he can't run left or move or juke or something like that. But things might trick you. Players are supposed to get better. They're supposed to take that next step up in the NFL. So for all we know, Pickett's going to come out here and the Bills won't know how to handle him. Mitch threw a fucking dart to Deontay Johnson. The touchdown was taken away from me in fantasy. He threw a fucking dart, perfect ball. Deontay Johnson just couldn't keep his toe in. The ball was the only person could catch it was Johnson. That's the goal. It was a sharp throw. After that though, their offense doesn't get moving, and again, I'm just glad Steelers fans are not taking the Bears fan approach and blaming Mitch right away. I mean, they were, but then once they found out, again, like I said, Deontay Johnson, Pickens, Najee Harris, their offensive line, everybody's bitching that Matt Canada has no plays. It's just stagnant. We're not running the ball. We were running it 5 times a game. How are we supposed to block on a blitz every play then, because they know we're just going to throw it? Now Pickett comes out here. He rolls out, and here's my thing with what I saw there. Tomlin said, go deep, get some energy probably, right? I understand that. But if you're Pickett, you could have done so much more, like legit not thrown that interception. You didn't have to force it into triple coverage. There were 2 safeties deep, and then a DB right, like Claypool's where I am, and the DB was right up here, or the cornerback, whatever. The point is, he rolls out. He could have ran for 30 yards, and that would have lit a fucking spark up. The kid's choice was to throw it into 2 deep safeties to your worst wide receiver, who I don't even know how he's on the fucking team. Claypool dropped like 6 passes from Mitch on Thursday night. He dropped 3 passes the game before and 4 passes the game before that. He's got the most drops on the fucking team. Your best wide receiver at this point, I mean, I would say Pickens, but I think is Pat Freiermuth, which I'm upset about the Mitch benching because he loves his tight end. That's his safety blanket. He's not a very smart quarterback. That's why he always played in a simple offense, or where he succeeded was a simple offense, where RPOs, the rollouts, the bootlegs, the play actions, stuff like that. Those simple little fucking adjustments in the game to help a quarterback that's not mentally able to dissect your defense or read every option he has, progression checking, stuff like that. Mitch could read 2 progressions, but he knows where his tight end is and his running back is. Pickett rolled out again, throws the ball into the worst coverage you fucking could. They're playing like a prevent. This kid does that. Almost like you knew they were going to take a deep shot. Oh, it tipped off. Claypool should have had it. The pass didn't have to be thrown. It was forced. He could have, like I said, he had the whole right side of the field fucking wide open. He rolled out and just kept tuck it and run, dude. You could have had like a Daniel Jones trip up by the fucking 2-yard line. Everybody was playing deep, and his decision was still, I'm the man. I'm gonna throw this ball. It reminded me of Drew Lock. It reminds me of Zach Wilson. Now, the next interception he threw, he ran for a touchdown on the 1-yard line. Okay, big deal. Everyone was like, oh, he runs for a touchdown. Literally, Mitch did that on Thursday Night Football, and then the whole fucking Steelers team collapsed after that. They didn't move the ball at all until the end of the game, where Pat Freiermuth had like 3 catches for 43 yards or something like that, and in the last 4 minutes, where I don't know why there was none of that play calling at all the second half of the game when it worked the first half. Again, getting back on Pickett, he throws another ball. He forced it. He could have threw it out of bounds. He could have ran. He could have done anything else. He literally could have done anything else, and he forced another ball, forcing it way too high. Pat Freiermuth, Pat Freiermuth's vertical went from like 3 inches to 25, tries to catch it, tip drill. The number one thing your fucking defensive coach will tell you is when it's a tip, everyone go for the ball. They all scream, tip! They fucking intercept the ball. Oh, it's not his fault. It hit the wide receiver in the hands. The ball was 30 feet over Pat Freiermuth's head, who's arguably your biggest fucking wide receiver outside of Pickens, and you're not going to blame the quarterback? It's fine to blame him. He's a fucking rookie. He just came in. It's a disaster organization right now. It's a disaster of a team. You have one of the worst fucking offensive coordinators. I'm not saying Pickett's going to fucking blow. I love teasing all the Steelers fans because they just assume like, oh, you fucking hate him, blah, blah, blah. He's better than Mitch. You just like Mitch. They signed Mitch for $10 million, drafted Pickett. They literally did what the Bears did with Mitch, just destroy him. And there's only one person to blame, and that's your coaching staff. So I guess there's multiple. But the offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, is first fucking to blame. Tomlin's got to be number 2. That's his team. He needs to get over to this fucking offensive coordinator and either take over play calling or tell him to step it the fuck up. Because everyone's job is at risk. The organization isn't looking good. They want to sell tickets, so they just put Pickett in now to start. He's got to play the Bills. I think he's got to play the Packers. He's got to go to Tampa Bay. He's got like 3 or 4 really, really hard defenses to play in a row now, and you're throwing him. You should just let Mitch get back in the fucking game, have an actual playbook for Mitch, and see what happens so that this way, by the end of the season, if you don't get there, you throw Pickett in, you got an easier schedule, you let him get acclimated to a real defense, not 4th and 5th stringers trying to make the fucking practice squad like he was in preseason. Let him get used to that so that this way, next year, when he is playing and starting, he's not sitting here thinking, I don't know how to read these defenses. I don't know how these DBs play. I don't know how these linebackers play. Now he's got to just watch film, or he's going to go experience it and get fucking destroyed in the next 3 weeks. Then what does that kid think? I mean, if he's got a chip on his shoulder, he's like Drew Lock. He's not going to be fazed by it. He just knows he's not that good, but he's going to be in the league. Maybe he'll be a journeyman, whatever the case may be. But those are the chances you're taking on a highly touted prospect. And he came from Pitt, so you know everybody loves him. Every Pittsburgh Steelers fan loves him because he went to Pitt. Just like when James Conner came out and all the things that happened with James Conner, which were great. He was a fucking wonderful story. But if he wasn't from Pitt, the people wouldn't have been so hard on him not performing well. Like, the ties there are stronger than pretty much any of them. It's like getting, I can't even think his name, Hutchinson, and, from Michigan and going to play for the Detroit Lions, or a Michigan State guy going to play for the Detroit Lions. Like, that blood is thick. Anyways, Pickett's going to get the start. There's a very, very, very good possibility in my gut the Steelers win against the Bills. The Bills just shut down Lamar Jackson. I don't hear anybody fucking talking. Everybody wanted to fucking cry by week 2. Oh, look at him now. Week 3. Oh, he's fucking so good, dude. What happened to the fucking Dolphins shutting his ass up? Oh, well, he still had X. He didn't win the fucking game. Second half of the fucking game, the Dolphins came out, made Lamar look like a fucking average quarterback. What happened in Baltimore this week? The Bills defense came out. They had a spy on Lamar. They stopped him for the most part from using his legs, and he couldn't complete the downfield passes. He threw a pick in the end zone and blew the game. Josh Allen took it into his own hands, delivered, and they won. Josh had like 2 30-yard runs because the coaching adjustments worked for the Bills and didn't have any adjustments, it seems like, for the Ravens because the Bills were still kind of in the game. Then Lamar, nobody knows where he went, man. That's 2 games now this year, early on in this year, that your MVP has been shut down the second half of a game and blew a game. That game's on Lamar. Just like when the Dolphins beat the Bills, that game was 90% of NFL fans were saying it was bullshit in general with the refs here and there. Josh had some bad plays. Tua really didn't do shit. Josh was exhausted. Diggs was exhausted. They were fucking needed to almost be helped off the field playing in Miami, which I said the Bills will lose this game because they have to travel to Miami. If Tua was playing in week, whatever it is, 14 or 15, against the Bills are still going to beat the fuck out of them. They would beat the shit out of them with Tua in that game. I firmly still would believe that. He might have to retire. That was even a nasty hit. Back-to-back weeks. Everybody in the whole fucking NFL fan base knew he was concussed against the Bills and still went in there, finished out the game, didn't have to do anything crazy, just had to move the ball, kill the clock. I understand that. They had fucking lawyers and doctors that were working with Tua's family that week before the game, just in case something happened against the Bengals, God forbid. And he fucking barely goes down. Gets his head popped a little bit on the ground. And seized up. Terrible. I fucking never want to see that shit. Not to my worst enemy. That was fucking horrible. So the Dolphins are fucked. Tua might have to retire. Not a good look for the NFL. They just were dominating the sports market league, out of every league. They were number 1. And then again, CTE stuff. But here's the thing. Burrow and everybody, I've played with it. Our coaches used to fucking hit us with a screwdriver on the helmet if we fucked up a play. A fucking, not like some little dinky screwdriver. It was a fucking 12-inch screwdriver with a 6-inch handle, and they would fucking rock your head. That was just on a practice basis. You know how many times we played with our friends at the park, got fucking smoked? I ran into a pole looking for a ball like this, not looking in front of me. I straight into a fucking pole when I was, I think, like 9 on the blacktop. I got rocked. Didn't remember anything. I remember being in the nurse's office with an ice pack. That was the only way they could help you when I was younger with a concussion, I guess, outside of they did this or something like that. They didn't have real doctors flashing lights in your eyes or anything like that. They give you an ice pack, go back to class. You're not going home. We know what you're trying to do here. I mean, yeah, it's probably not right, but the NFL lets so many little things go by. The MLB, look how many players get hurt with like a hip or a wrist or a hand injury or back tightness or something like that, and the player's like, no, I'm good. You have to, again, trust the player to be honest to you, and yeah, there are doctors that are supposed to make that analysis and hold you out. Coaches are there to win. Not every coach is worried about your health. A lot of coaches are. Bill Belichick, like my buddy was saying last night, was the first one to be like, oh, I'm holding people out because they had a concussion. So he's not playing this week. And it's like, okay, Bill, relax. We know who you are. Chill the fuck out. We're going to move on to the little picks here. I did put in a bet already. I actually put in 2 bets. So I took for tonight's game. I don't love the game in general. I don't trust the Colt. I don't trust Matt Ryan. I feel like anytime he can have a big game still. There's no Jonathan Taylor. He's been a disappointment anyway, so I'm not really worried about not having Jonathan Taylor. But they are in Denver. The Broncos are atrocious. However, with Melvin Gordon and Boone being the only running backs, Javonte Williams, of course, my number 2 pick in fantasy, second rounder towards ACL. Sucks to see and hear. But Melvin Gordon's had some fumbling issues, stuff like that. I think he's still like a good asset on the team. Boone, I feel like he's been in before a couple times. He's shown some flashes, so maybe he gets his shot. He might move into that number 1 role if Melvin Gordon can't get things going and continues to fumble. Russ needs, after that horrible TikTok that he made, what the fuck is he even on like TV and ads for? You know he's eating those subs too with that fat fucking gut he's got. Maybe that's the reason why. Maybe he's eating too many fucking sweets. Too many sweets with THC in them. And Sierra ain't fucking having it either. Not that dog has any room to fucking talk. But anyways. The Broncos, minus 176 on the money line, minus 3.5. People were taking the Broncos to cover. I feel like it's a trap game. It's Thursday night. It's like the fucking, Friday the 13th type of vibes on Thursdays usually for me. If this was a Monday night game, I would just say like the Broncos are probably going to win the primetime game. But you never know with Matt Ryan. He's got these weapons around him. He's got a pretty good offensive line. The Broncos' defense is kind of banged up too. They're minus 176, minus 3.5. I don't love any of this game with these. I took a player prop parlay, and I have a 40% boost on it thanks to the DraftKings. But anyways, 42.5. Just because of the way the unders have been happening and people are taking this under, I kind of feel like 42.5 is very possible. But also, the whole game to me is a trap. I just think it's another garbage fucking matchup. And there was too much anticipation with the NFL having Matt Ryan and the Colts and all that kind of shit. And then the Broncos having Russ and all this kind of shit going on. There's so much marketing on these two teams in general this year that the Colts and Matt Ryan might finally get a chance to get back to the Super Bowl. Colts defense is depleted too. I don't know. This game sucks. So what I did was a player prop. I took Cortland Sutton anytime touchdown scorer. I took Naheem Hines anytime touchdown scorer. I took the under of 42.5 because unders have been happening. Russ over 170 passing yards. Jerry Jeudy over 34.5 receiving yards. And Mo Alley Cox over 4.5 receiving yards. If I could find Mo Alley Cox receiving yards in general, I might check that out too because he's like the safety blanket again for Matt Ryan. He gets like 4 or 5 targets a game, it seems like. So I don't know the exact stats, but that's a $2 parlay to net to win 102. So it's $100 if I hit this it's a $2 scratch off. I have a 14-pick parlay because I got motivated after seeing someone's literally had the best ticket Bay Area. Shout out to him posting this. Is a little picture right here for you. It is Lake Tahoe. It was a fucking 15-leg parlay. So it was literally every Sunday game. And the Niners were on there. Sorry. He took the Bills, the Titans, the Buffalo under 52.5, the Chargers, the Jets, the Cowboys, the Cardinals, the Packers, the Niners, the Seahawks, the Eagles, Falcons, Raiders, Chiefs. He took every game he bet on, he got it perfect. $5 won him $153,000. So I was like, man, one of these got to hit for me. I mean, clearly I hit a fucking plus almost 4,000 odds parlay, but I said, I'm motivated. I'm throwing a couple. I had the uneven number of like 4, so I threw 3 $1 parlays two $1 parlays and then that $2 parlay tonight. So I took the over of the Colts Broncos in this parlay. Okay. Kind of hedged myself there because it's such a low risk and a high reward between tonight's player prop and the big 15-legger or 14-legger. So I did take the over 43.5. Clearly, everyone's taking that under. I would 110% throw away tonight's parlay for this one to hit. If it meant this over a 43.5. First leg, we're still standing. Over 44.5, Texans, Jaguars. I think it's going to happen. I think Mills will have a little bit of a bounce back. He's still throwing for like 250 every game. Cooks had a great week last week, so maybe some things are going well. The Texans, with Davis Mills, since being their quarterback, has not had the best win percentage. He's kind of getting blown out when he's away, and they're in Jacksonville, which is a very hard place to play again. It's in Florida, humidity, all that kind of shit, storming, whatever. So the Jaguars, James Robinson's been pretty decent for them. Trevor and Kirk are looking fucking great, like we've said before. They kind of have a good defense to where Trevor blew the game last week against the Eagles. And I had the Jags on the money line. That was a rough one. But then I got the Dolphins to beat the Jets. I think the Jets beat the Dolphins. But I'll get to my other parlay and how I took that one versus this one. I got the over of the Bills game. I think Kenny Pickett, like I said, with having no film really to go off of with this kid, and there's a lot of high hope. And the last time the number one defense faced a rookie quarterback was like 20 years ago against Big Ben, and it was the Bills. The Bills' defense was number one at the time when Big Ben did the same thing Pickett is doing right now. The Bills lost that game. Not saying Kenny Pickett is Big Ben. I'm just saying history tends to come back around. Over 47 for that game, and there's been 2 unders on them. So the Ravens under, I kind of felt like the Bills Josh is going to have a big game, and Pickett will probably get a touchdown or 2. Patriots versus the Lions. I took the Patriots on this one. It's the more conservative play. Zap A, baby. Bailey looking fucking sharp. The 2 seconds ran off the clock. That sucked. I get it. But he still made the fucking play. He still called hike. The defense was still ready to go. Everything happened as a normal play. If you add those 2 seconds, he did add 0. He still did what he did and scored a touchdown. I don't give a fuck. Everyone wants to sit here and cry. It's not like the fucking Patriots walked off the field knowing it was a penalty. They were jumping, looking around. The hike, as soon as he called hike, he fucking went off, right? So, anyways, the Patriots, I got them against the Lions. I'm thinking the Lions win, but I want to see what this Zap A kid's about. Because they're in New England as well. I got the over for the Saints-Seahawks game. It's probably going to be an under. I just have a feeling because of how much the Seahawks were putting up and giving up against the Lions last week. Same with the Saints. The Saints over hit. The Vikings, I have them against the Bears. You can never bet against the Bears if you're in Chicago, but we are this week. I actually took the Bears money line, and then when the game was close, I took the Giants to hedge myself because I didn't think the Bears were going to pull it off and broke even. Chargers, Browns. I got the Chargers beating the Browns in Cleveland. So this whole parlay, then you got the Titans beating Washington. You got the Niners beating the Panthers. You got the Eagles beating the Cardinals. You got the Ravens beating the Bengals. You got the Rams -4 against the Cowboys. I think they're going to have to try and get it fucking going. They're back in L.A. Cooper Rush, he might live to see another day, or he's going to be exposed. Um, Same with Mike McCarthy and McCarthy, whatever. And the Raiders I have over the Chiefs. That one is plus 2,000 or 29,000. Okay. Then I have a even more absolute insane parlay with the $1. Over 51 with the Chiefs game. It usually is a shootout. The Chiefs on the money line. The Bengals on the money line plus 150. The Rams money line minus 205. Cardinals plus 200. I think in Arizona they could. I don't know why. I just have a weird feeling that it could be a low scoring game. Hurts just has like an off game, and Kyler ends up winning it. Like I don't know why I have a weird feeling on them as the dogs too. The Browns, I have them at home. They're dogs. I have them at home. If Garrett or Clowney, if they are both playing and or can get in there and fucking cream Herbert, he might be done for the game. So I might take the Browns on a different parlay because they are plus 125 with like the Lions and X. But we'll go to the Browns. I got the Bucks against the Falcons. I got the Vikings against the Bears again. I got the Seahawks against the Saints to upset them. I got the Lions to beat the Pats in this one. The Bills I have on the money line. The Jets I have on the money line against the Dolphins. The Texans again +7. They cover, so I'll take +7 again. And then the Colts I have against the Broncos tonight. So that's a crazy one again. I have one more, so I had 15 or something, or 14, whatever. And these are the odd numbers now. So then I have the Eagles on this one. This one's more conservative. It's not as big as a play. It's only 10 picks, and it's like a plus 15,000. So it's the Eagles, the Packers, the over of the Jacksonville Jaguars game, the Jets on the money line, the Bills on the money line, the Lions on the money line, the Bucks on the money line, the Browns on the money line, the over in the Bengals Ravens game, and the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the Raiders. So those are my few picks this week. Those are my few parlays. I don't really have anything else I'm looking at. I'm going to try this right here, though. So let's move to it. Hate this game. I have the Giants Packers. You got to go with the Packers. They're at home. Giants coming off a win though against Chicago. I think Aaron Rodgers and them will probably cover, to be honest. Seahawks Saints. Like I said, I could see Geno still fucking not writing back. Saints are at home. It's a whole different environment now. But I mean, what are you gonna do? It's in a dome. Saints defense is really what you're worried about. Kamara's going to be back, so that might change things here for me. But I don't love this game at all. I really don't like the game. I kind of like the over. I like the over more which a lot of people do. 41 was too easy. With the Seahawks, how many points they're putting up and how many points they're letting up, and how much the Saints, how much they bounced back last week with Andy Dalton against the Vikings in London. 41 was a no-brainer to me. I would have just took that, but I never saw it at that low, or I never even did the research on it yet. But with Kamara back, I definitely see 41. 46 is still more than possible. The Texans, Jags, I like the over in this game. I still like the over. I will have to check the Jacksonville. Let's check this weather real quick. Sunday, it's going to be 83. Partly cloudy, Sunday, 83. So Jags beat the Texans. They would probably, I don't know, it might be closer than 7. That's clearly why I took the Texans to cover. I could see it being a 3 or 4 point game. The Texans over for sure, 43.5. The Jags are scoring. They're moving the ball. Things are working for them. Texans can score. They put up 10 to 13 points. I can totally see this happening. The Jags getting like 24 plus points as well. I mean, clearly that's not this, but it's very close to it. Steelers, Bills. I kind of just want to throw some money on the Steelers. I'd rather see my Bills win and me lose a few bucks than rather see the Steelers win and not have any money on them at all, just because of the Pickett fucking bullshit going on. Bills should beat them. They're at home, though. Fucking Bills Mafia better show up. Falcons, Bucks. Like I said, the Bucks are who I would take. They moved the ball against Kansas City. They should move it against the Falcons. I kind of like the over in this more than anything, just because of minus 407 and minus 9. I'm not big on the -9. They should beat the fuck out of them, though. The Bears-Vikings, I don't like the over. People are taking the over. I kind of like the under based on the fact that the Bears can't score points unless it's Herbert. And plus 260, I'm going to fade the Bears because I'm always going to pretty much fade them now. Titans, Redskins. Redskins. I'm taking the Titans, and I like the over of this game. I actually think I love this game the most out of all of them. I think the Titans are being disrespected here, but I also think that the Commanders, Redskins, whatever, can put up points. Dolphins, Jets, yada, yada, yada. I see the Jets winning. Teddy Bridgewater's not fucking terrible, but he wasn't great. He had a couple shots, and he did not land them. The Dolphins' defense is what's going to hold them up, if anything. I know you got to get the ball to Tyreek Hill and let him do his thing, but the Jets look weird right now. Like, they look like they can compete. Zach Wilson's back. He caught a touchdown. I don't even think he threw a touchdown. It was just against the Pittsburgh Steelers, too. I get that, but I kind of thought that the Steelers would come in and move the ball against the Jets. They didn't. 44 is the over. I don't know, man. I just don't know Bridgewater. He didn't look terrible when he came in the game, but I feel like that's normally how Teddy Bridgewater looks. I mean, he's kind of remember Tyrod Taylor, how many times he came in? He gets hurt every fucking game. Tyrod Taylor, straight up, like my buddy said last night, the NFL is just like, hey, dude, we will pay you for the rest of your career to sit on the fucking bench. You might get a couple snaps here and there. Just leave so you don't get any more fucked up from the punctured lung incident. You'll always have a job here. Just go fucking sit the fuck down, just like, RG3, who's now a personality for the NFL, who's a great personality. I like the Jets on the money line, dude. I do. Chargers, Browns, like I said, I like the Browns at home. I love Herbert and the Chargers. If Keenan Allen's back too, you got to respect that. I don't really love the under-over of this game. I don't know. It's going to be a weird game, and they're in Cleveland. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. It's been some shit weather, clearly. So we move on to the Lions-Pats. I'm just going to put money on the Lions. I'm going to be in my guy's house in Detroit. So in honor of that, I'm going to take the Lions this week. I know they got to have a win in them somewhere. It would be really funny if the Patriots lost to the Lions, too. Bill Belichick looks like he's losing his shit out there. But Zappe might be able to fucking bomb the ball. I mean, he looked good. He looked calm. He came in, and he didn't look like he didn't look like he needed to do too much. That's the only reason why I respect the way he came into that game. And he put up a fucking fight against the Packers in Green Bay. So that's why the Patriots are fucking favorites, and they're home. People are taking them -1.5. Cover by 3. I could see it happening. I see the Lions blowing it, but I can also see the Lions upsetting them more than I can see the Patriots just covering 3 points. I'm taking the Lions. I might take the over too. They put up the most points in the NFL, and they give up the most points. So it's coming down to Bill's son and Bill on defense over there running that, and then how Matt Patricia's good. I think he's calling the plays. So, anyways, by the way, Zappe had like 62 touchdowns last year and 5 or 6 interceptions all year and 5,200 yards passing for Western Kentucky. The kid is not some bum. 49ers, Panthers, mark my watch. He's going to be a bum, and then I'm going to look like a fool. But it's prospecting. 49ers, Panthers, I mean, -277. I don't know anyone in their right mind who's putting $300 on the Niners to beat the Panthers, because who knows? Maybe Baker has a fucking game, or Matt Rule is going to be fired here, so he might be throwing everything at this team. 49ers defense is unreal, so I would have taken a -3 for sure. 39's a low under. I like that over. You get Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, a score or two. I might take player props on this like I did last time with Kittle to score and a couple other things. But you know what I did take was I think it was the over, which didn't hit last week. And that was the only one on the leg of the parlay. It was like a 5-legger. You had Kittle to score, Jimmy's over in passing yards. Stafford's over attempts or completions. I actually tried to pick up the, what is he? Is it Matt Gay that's the kicker now? Whoever the kicker is for the Rams. I tried to take his over 1.5. They wouldn't let me same game parlay it, so that sucked. But anyways, moving on to the next team. I don't love this game at all. Maybe the over just because it's so low, and I feel like 39 is too low all the time. Eagles Cardinals. I have the Eagles upsetting them, and some other people are taking them on the line because it's minus 192 now. I got it at plus 192. I don't know. It's going to be a duel, that's for sure. I feel like it's going to be a really good. I think this could be the one week the Eagles finally don't go undefeated. They're 4-1, and the Cardinals are 3-2. And people start jumping on that Cardinals bandwagon again. It's a fat line to jump on too. Plus 192. It's on mine. It's plus 210 and then plus 205. So I got those early. That was a benefit. But now if they don't pull it off, it's worthless. The whole parlay slip. Minus 217, the Rams and Cowboys. I don't know why it's so high. I mean, I get it. They're at home. Cooper Rush and the boys have been looking better almost than with Dak. Their defense is still pretty elite. Their defense, to me, is just as good as the Rams. I mean, you only got like one guy on the Rams you're worried about, and that's AD. So, I know the Cowboys line is really beat up. They just got a block for Cooper Rush, and they can upset him as well. I do have the Rams in my parlays. Like I said, I think they're going to just beat them. I think the Cowboys will fucking come back to reality. Maybe this is the turning point for the Rams. They go 3-2 and win a couple in a row like they should have been. Bengals, Ravens, I like this over. Clearly, some people were taking the under, up and down, up and down. If the Bengals win and they go 3-2 and the Ravens go 2-3, people are going to fucking riot in Baltimore. Like, what is happening? Their defense does not look great either. So if you can't shut Jamar Chase down, if you can't shut T. Higgins down, Bengals take this by a landslide, and the over probably will hit because I might take player props in this game more than any game this week. I'm going to look at that because Burrow, Lamar needs to bounce back, blah, blah, blah. He's usually good for 50-plus yards running. If you can get like a 58 and then he throws for a touchdown and then you could get a Jamar Chase touchdown and then you can get something else like a Mark Andrews touchdown in that parlay, 2 quarterbacks, 2 wide receivers, and maybe the Bengals on the money line or something, same gamer. There's some risk-free ones out there for DK, so I'm thinking I might take exactly what I just announced. Actually, I'll build it on here for proof, and I'll put it in. Fuck. I like to bet on college, too, sometimes, so I like to have the money in there. Whatever, let's see. Place NFL same games and get a 100% profit boost. We're just going to do it right there. Baltimore. Here we go. Same game. I'm taking the Bengals on the money. Ooh, they're plus 130. So people are taking them for sure. I'm going to take the over 47.5. I'll take over 15.5 points for the Ravens. I'll take Bengals over 13.5. I will take passing props. Joe Burrow over 229.5. Are they at home? What's the Baltimore weather? This is what you got to do. Boom, Baltimore weather. Sunday. What do we got here? It's going to be a cool, humidity 48, no rain so far. I'm taking Joe Burrow over 229.5 passing. Rushing, Lamar Jackson plus 45, over 45. Receiving, Jamar Chase have 55 yards plus. Where's Mark Andrews? Love taking Mark Andrews. Over 49.5. And anytime touch. No, there's no touchdowns. I can't take any touchdowns in this game. It's almost not worth it. Team scoring. So you can't take it. And I have a huge parlay out right now with this. If I take this with the profit boost, it's 5 plus 580. It's not worth my time. I'm going to screenshot it, and I will add some touchdown scores. Like I said, I want Mark Andrews as scoring and Jamar Chase to score as well. If I could add that in there, it's probably going to be 1,000 plus 1,000. Throw like $2 or $3 on it, try and win it, 20, $30. Raiders, Chiefs, I like the over. I always like the over in this game. It usually hits. I think every time they play, it's like it's a fucking shootout. It's just the way it is. They're going to be in town in Kansas City. Weather, it'll probably be nice and sunny, or you know what I mean, like nice out that night, and then it'll get cooler out. The Raiders will definitely lose. I could see the Chiefs covering 7. I love Chiefs covering 7. I love the over in this, I think. I'm going to do player props with the Bengals-Ravens. I think the over is a good one for the Bengals-Ravens. I think the Rams should beat the shit out of them, finally, put the Cowboys back into reality. I think the Cardinals are going to upset the Eagles. I think the Panthers, Niners, I hate that game in general. The Niners are going to win. I don't know how it's going to play out. I think that the Lions have a really good chance to upset the Patriots this week, and I'm going to take them, even though the Patriots should win. The Browns, Chargers, I took the Browns on the parlay. I'd like the Chargers to win. Are easily going to win that game with Jacoby Brissett, who's been kind of balling. I took him last week to score a touchdown anytime with a couple other guys. The only one that didn't do it was Gabriel Davis and one other guy, I forget, out of the 5, and it was a nice parlay. Dolphins, Jets. I think the Jets upset the Dolphins. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater's really fucking shit. I think he's had his chances, like I said, many times before. I know he shit the bed, and they're in New York. You stop Tyreek Hill, I think you stop the Dolphins, to be honest. It's not easy. Titans, Washington, I'm taking the Titans and that over probably for sure. I really like both of those. I took the Titans last week. I think the Titans are starting to warm up a little bit. If Derrick Henry gets going, you're not stopping them. We all need that in fantasy. The Vikings, Bears, I'm going to say Vikings. I don't think the Bears can stop them. The Bears' defense is really bad. Delvin Cook's probably going to have a good game. Might take him to finally score a fucking touchdown. Justin Jefferson, bounce-back game last week. Huge for fantasy owners like myself. Needed that. Hopefully he could keep it up. Sorry, Bears. I don't think the Bears will score many points, so I think that under will happen. And a lot of house money, it looks like, is on the over. Falcons, Bucks. Bucks should beat the hell out of them. I could kind of see the over happening just because the Falcons have some weird flukes going on right now. Steelers, Bills. Steelers may just upset the Bills. I think it's very possible. It's a huge upset, by the way. But go Bills. Jags, Texans. I think the Texans cover 7. I think plus 7 is great. I think the over in that game is great. Saints, Seahawks. I hate that game in general, so do what you want with that. I just took the underdogs, which were the Seahawks, because why not? Odds were crazy better with them. Packers, Giants. I think the Packers should cover 8 points. They should beat the hell out of them. 41.5, I kind of like that over. Colts, Broncos. Hate the game in general. Did the player props. And that's going to be fucking it. So, good luck.